Hello there, and welcome to Deep Space Sleep. I'm so glad you're here in this quiet moment. Before maps divided the world, and before cities rose into the sky, jungles were already breathing beneath countless layers of green, long before roads, lamps, and restless days. Their shadows held cool air, soft soil, and the slow rhythm of leaves lifting and settling again. In their depth, the world moved gently, and every sound softened itself into something steady enough to rest inside. Jungles carry stories older than rivers, and older than the first paths humans ever walked. Their roots have held the ground through warm rains and long seasons. Their canopies have sheltered life across centuries, and their quiet patterns continue even when no one is watching. Light filters downward like drifting dust. Moisture gathers in calm layers, and tiny movements speak in the soft language of a world that never needs to hurry. In this calm moment, we're going to wander into that green world through the shaded places where air stays cool, through the slow habits of plants and creatures resting beneath the canopy, and into the deep stillness that jungles hold inside their layered breath. Nothing rushes here, nothing pulls your mind forward. It's simply a place where warmth, shade, and quiet work together to loosen the day from your thoughts. If you'd like, feel free to share where you're listening from and what time it is for you. For now, let your breath settle, let your shoulders loosen, and let the soft green calm of the jungle rise gently around you. Let's begin. The humidity in a tropical jungle moves through the air like a soft and steady presence, settling gently on leaves, bark, and soil without ever feeling rushed or heavy. It keeps the forest warm but balanced, holding moisture close to the ground where countless living layers quietly rely on it. This constant, even dampness allows plants to stay hydrated through long warm hours and helps the soil maintain its calm, cool weight as the day eases into its slower rhythm. The moisture thickens just enough to soften the edges of sound and movement, creating a quiet world where everything slows into a peaceful pattern. The air feels full yet gentle, warm but not pressing, carrying a steadiness that supports the forest from the ground up. In this unhurried atmosphere, the jungle's pulse becomes smooth and predictable, forming a natural cradle of warmth and calm. The thick canopy of a tropical jungle creates a protective ceiling that filters sunlight into soft scattered beams. Its layers of overlapping leaves slow the heat of the day, turning bright light into gentle patterns that fall quietly onto the forest floor. Under this wide shield, the temperature drops into a comfortable calm, giving plants, animals, and soil a sense of steady shelter. The shade is consistent and soothing, neither sharp nor dark, and it helps the ground hold moisture long after the rain has passed. The canopy also muffles sound, shaping the space beneath it into a quieter world where movements feel softer and the air cools at a slow and peaceful pace. As the day shifts toward evening, the filtered light grows even calmer, reminding the forest of its long, patient cycles. When water vapor rises from the forest floor, it does so with a softness that blends into the calm rhythm of the jungle. Warm air lifts moisture upward in thin, unhurried streams, drifting between roots, ferns, and fallen leaves before disappearing into higher layers of green. These rising columns are almost silent, but they play a steady role in keeping the jungle balanced by spreading coolness upward and returning warmth back down through gentle exchanges of air. This movement contributes to the forest's natural breathing, a subtle pattern that evens out changes in temperature and keeps each layer of the jungle connected. As the warmth rises and spreads, it becomes part of a quiet cycle that has repeated for centuries, maintaining a soft harmony between soil, plants, and sky. The large leaves of tropical plants act as quiet collectors of moisture, gathering tiny droplets along their smooth surfaces throughout the day. Each leaf becomes a resting place for dew that forms from the coolness of morning and the gentle humidity of evening. As droplets gather, they slowly travel toward the tips, sometimes falling softly to the ground, where the soil absorbs them with ease. These broad leaves help conserve water by holding on to moisture before the heat of the day arrives. And their calm, wide surfaces create gentle pathways for water to move through the forest. Their steady work helps support countless plants beneath them, offering a natural way to distribute hydration without noise or effort. With each passing day, the leaves repeat this process in the same peaceful rhythm, contributing to the forest's slow and dependable balance. Many plants in tropical forests open their tiny pores only during the cooler hours, conserving water while still taking in what they need to live. This quiet timing allows them to breathe in a way that doesn't waste moisture, using the evening's soft air to regulate their inner balance. As the temperature eases, their surfaces relax, pulling in what the day's warmth made too costly to absorb. This nightly rhythm helps them stay hydrated and strong, even during the hottest periods. The timing is so gentle that it feels like part of the forest's collective exhale, a shared moment when plants shift into a softer, more restful state. By dawn, they have taken in exactly what they need without strain or urgency. Continuing the jungle's long tradition of moving slowly and wisely, roots in a tropical jungle form quiet networks beneath the soil, supported by fine threads of fungi that weave patiently through the ground. These threads help roots share minerals in a way that feels almost invisible, carrying nutrients from one place to another without sound or motion. This partnership allows plants to stay well fed even when the soil is thin or uneven, strengthening the forest as a whole. The exchange is steady and delicate, happening at a pace that matches the unhurried life of the jungle. Through this subtle cooperation, plants help one another endure the shifting rhythms of heat, rain, and shade. Beneath the surface, it all continues without interruption, forming a silent foundation for every tree and leaf above. The air inside a jungle acts as a natural filter, passing through layers of leaves, roots, and moss before rising toward the canopy. Dust and small particles settle naturally as the air moves through the forest's dense structure, leaving the atmosphere clearer and calmer for every living thing within it. The thick vegetation acts like a patient sponge, absorbing and softening the flow of air while keeping it cool and moist. This filtering effect helps preserve the delicate balance needed for countless plants and animals to thrive. As the day goes on, the filtered air remains steady, carrying the forest's warm scent and gentle moisture without disturbance. Sunlight in a tropical rainforest does not fall in straight lines, but instead breaks apart into soft, layered patterns that shift slowly throughout the day. As beams pass through leaves of different shapes and sizes, they create scattered steps of brightness that fall gently across trunks, roots, and ferns. These layers of light move quietly as the sun travels overhead, adding a calm, visual rhythm to the forest. Even during bright hours, the light feels softened and steady, making the entire space underneath the canopy feel cool, balanced, and deeply peaceful. The forest floor of a jungle stays soft because it is constantly renewed by falling leaves that break down into gentle layers of organic material. This slow decay creates a cushion-like surface that absorbs sound, softens footsteps, and helps hold moisture close to the ground. As each layer settles, it blends seamlessly into the one below, forming a quiet foundation where plants can grow with support and stability. This soft ground also gives small creatures a safe, cool place to move and rest, contributing to the jungle's calm and sheltered feel. The scent of moist jungle soil carries countless natural compounds released slowly as leaves and wood decompose. This aroma is warm, earthy, and gentle, rising softly into the air without overwhelming the senses. It signals that the forest is healthy, alive, and continuously renewing itself. Each breath of this scent ties together the hidden work happening beneath the surface: fungi breaking down wood, roots drawing in nutrients, and soft layers of earth forming over time. The smell stays close to the ground, creating a calm and grounding atmosphere that supports the jungle's quiet rhythm. Within a single square centimeter of moss, an entire hidden world moves through routines so small and quiet they almost disappear into the softness around them. Tiny organisms rest between delicate strands that hold just enough moisture to keep them comfortable through the warm hours of the day. The moss keeps its coolness even when the forest heats up, giving shelter to forms of life that rely on calm, steady humidity rather than speed or strength. Every droplet held inside the moss becomes a resting place. Every thin thread becomes a pathway, and every shaded corner turns into a tiny refuge. Together, these microscopic lives add a gentle hum to the forest floor. Not a sound you hear, but a slow continuity you can sense in the stillness. In this small space, the jungle's patience becomes visible, showing how life can thrive quietly where conditions stay soft, moist, and welcoming. Fine fungal threads spread through jungle soil in patterns so delicate they resemble lines of breath moving through the ground. They reach outward in thin, branching strands, passing nutrients from one root to another with a patience that matches the forest's slow rhythm. These threads do not push forcefully or grow in sudden bursts. They move with a steady softness, following moisture, shade, and warmth through the soil. Their quiet work supports plants that might otherwise struggle, linking different parts of the forest into a single, balanced network beneath the surface. Over time, this underground web becomes a calm, reliable system, carrying the forest's hidden energy from one place to another. Even though it remains unseen, it helps every layer above remain stable, hydrated, and strong. When a leaf falls onto the forest floor, it enters a long, gentle process of becoming shelter for creatures that move quietly through the lower layers of the jungle. Beetles and ants make their way into its softening folds, using the shaded space beneath it as protection from heat and sudden movements above. As moisture settles into the leaf, it becomes easier for small creatures to rest, feed, and travel across its surface. Over days and weeks, the leaf slowly begins to break down, but throughout its transition it continues, providing safe corners and calm passages. Each stage of its softening offers something new to the insects that depend on temporary shelter. Eventually, the leaf merges with the soil, helping the next generation of life in quiet, steady cycles. Some fungi in the jungle emit a faint glow that spreads softly across the ground during the darkest hours. This gentle light is not bright enough to illuminate the forest, but gives a calm, steady radiance that rests close to the surface of the earth. The glow comes and goes with natural cycles, often appearing when the air is cool and the forest floor is still. Insects use this subtle light to navigate, moving slowly toward or away from it depending on their needs. The glow adds a sense of quiet presence to the night, a reminder of the slow processes happening underneath the soil. It is a calm, almost soothing signal of the forest's deeper rhythms, shining lightly without disturbing the surrounding darkness. Raindrops that collect at the base of roots create small pools where tiny insects find cool, protected places to pause during warm or busy moments of the day. These droplets remain longer than expected because the roots shield them from movement and direct heat. Within these tiny pockets, insects drink slowly, groom themselves, or simply rest until the surrounding air becomes more comfortable. The water settles naturally into curves along the roots, creating temporary sanctuaries that disappear only when they have been fully absorbed by the soil. These quiet, short-lived pools help support many small forms of life, offering hydration and calm in spaces too small for larger animals to notice. Their presence is a gentle reminder of how even the smallest details shape the jungle's steady balance. The soil of a jungle is built in gentle layers, each one shaped by time, moisture, and the slow settling of fallen leaves. The upper layer holds fresh material that still carries the scent of the forest, attracting small insects, roots, and fungi that thrive in its softness. Just below it lies a slightly older layer, cooler and darker, where burrowing creatures move with unhurried patience. Deeper still, the soil becomes firm and steady, supporting long roots and quiet organisms that rarely reach the surface. Each layer has its own calm rhythm, supporting a different kind of life in a way that feels balanced and timeless. As rain filters downward, the layers shift softly, absorbing moisture and returning it upward through roots and tiny threads of fungus. This slow exchange keeps the forest grounded, making the jungle feel stable even when the world above it changes. A termite mound in the jungle works like a natural cooling system, moving air through narrow channels that regulate temperature in a way that feels calm and steady. Inside, the structure maintains a gentle balance, keeping the colony comfortable through both warm days and humid nights. Air enters through small openings, travels upward or downward depending on the heat, and exits through vents that release the warm air at a soft, measured pace. The mound adjusts itself quietly, responding to changes in weather without ever appearing rushed. Its design has formed over countless generations, shaped by instinct and patience rather than force. This slow, precise airflow supports the entire community within, creating a cool and stable environment that mirrors the tranquil rhythms of the forest surrounding it. Small frogs in the jungle often rely on pockets of rainwater that collect inside curled leaves, using these natural basins as safe places for their young. The water remains still and clean, sheltered from wind and heat by the protective curve of the leaf. Inside these tiny pools, tadpoles rest and develop at a slow, steady pace, while the parent frog returns from time to time to check on them. The leaf holds just enough moisture to keep the environment calm, cool, and predictable. As the days pass, the water evaporates gently or spills into the soil below, signaling the moment when the young frogs are ready to continue their quiet journey through the jungle. This small cycle repeats with each rainfall, creating a peaceful partnership between plant and animal. On the jungle floor, The layer of leaf litter forms a natural cushion that softens every sound. Each fallen leaf adds to this gentle mat, blending with others until footsteps, shifting branches, and the movement of small animals fade into muted touches of noise. The softness helps maintain the forest's overall stillness, creating an environment where even active creatures seem to move quietly. As the leaves begin to break down, they release a mild, earthy scent and merge into the soil below, building new layers that continue absorbing sound. This slow transformation shapes the calm atmosphere of the jungle, making it feel quieter than expected, despite the number of lives moving through it. Many small insects in the jungle rely on the surrounding humidity to regulate their body temperature, absorbing moisture through their surfaces in a way that helps them stay balanced and comfortable. During warmer hours, they settle beneath leaves or along shaded roots, allowing the air's moisture to gather gently on their bodies. This natural process keeps them from drying out and supports their slow, patient rhythm of activity. As the humidity changes throughout the day, the insects shift their movements, following the soft patterns of moisture that help them stay cool. Their dependence on these delicate changes ties them closely to the forest's steady breathing, linking their tiny routines to the larger calm of the jungle. Water vapor rising from the jungle is a slow, steady movement that quietly shapes the sky above. As warm air lifts the moisture upward, it drifts through layers of leaves and branches before gathering in the open space above the canopy. This gentle rise contributes to the formation of low clouds that hover softly over the forest, creating a calm shield that moves at an unhurried pace. The moisture carries the scent of soil and leaves with it, releasing the forest's warmth into the higher air. Over time, the vapor gathers into thin, pale layers of clouds that shift subtly with the breeze. These clouds help cool the forest by returning shade and diffused light, completing a cycle that keeps the jungle balanced. Every day, this quiet exchange repeats, forming a continuous and soothing rhythm between earth and sky. Rain in a tropical forest often arrives in quick, heavy drops that fall with a sense of gentle urgency. The droplets gather weight as they descend through warm, humid air, striking leaves with soft thuds that blend into the forest's natural soundscape. Even in a strong shower, the atmosphere feels calm because the dense canopy slows the rainfall into layered rhythms. Some drops land sharply on broad leaves, others slide quietly down branches, and many never reach the ground at all. This creates a multi-layered sound that shifts smoothly from the canopy to the forest floor. The rain cools the air, softens the soil, and refreshes every surface it touches. When the shower passes, it leaves the jungle feeling clean, damp, and slightly cooler, adding another gentle cycle to the forest's daily breath. Morning mist settles across the jungle like a soft veil, clinging lightly to leaves and branches long after the sun has risen. This thin layer of moisture keeps the foliage cool, letting plants ease into the day without the quick rise in temperature that brighter environments experience. The mist remains longest in shaded areas, holding on to the coolness from the night and releasing it slowly as the forest begins to warm. Each leaf gathers its own thin film of water, allowing it to stay fresh and hydrated with minimal effort. As the morning continues, the mist lifts in gentle, unhurried waves, disappearing into the wider air without a clear beginning or end. This lingering coolness gives the jungle a quiet, refreshed feeling that carries into the late morning hours. A single large tree in the jungle can release hundreds of liters of water into the air each day through a calm and steady process. As the roots draw moisture from the soil, the tree sends it upward through its trunk and branches before letting it drift back into the atmosphere as gentle vapor. This constant release helps maintain the humidity of the forest, keeping the air soft and balanced. The process is unhurried but continuous, functioning like the tree's own slow breath. In warm hours, the evaporation becomes slightly stronger, supporting the formation of clouds and cooling the canopy. By evening, the tree's rhythm slows again, returning the forest to its steady, moist calm. This quiet exchange is one of the reasons the jungle stays lush and hydrated even during dry periods. Rain falling through the jungle canopy creates a sound that feels layered and soothing, as if each level of the forest contributes its own soft voice. Large leaves catch heavy drops and release them slowly, adding a deep, gentle rhythm. Smaller leaves scatter the sound into lighter taps, while trails of water slide down branches with a faint, continuous whisper. Some drops fall all the way to the forest floor, landing quietly on soil that absorbs the impact with ease. Together, these layers form an atmospheric pattern that shifts smoothly with the rainfall. The sound feels comforting rather than loud, blending with the forest's natural stillness and giving listeners a sense of calm. Steady motion. When light rain falls over the jungle, the forest absorbs water in a way that feels calm and effortless. Much like a sponge settling softly into moisture, the leaves catch small droplets and guide them down slow, gentle paths toward the ground, where the soil receives the water with quiet ease. Mosses, roots, and fallen leaves all hold on to this moisture, preventing it from running off too quickly. The forest floor becomes slightly cooler and softer, while the air thickens with a comfortable humidity that spreads evenly through the understory. This slow absorption helps the jungle stay hydrated even when the rain is brief, creating a steady reservoir of moisture that supports plants and small creatures. The entire process happens without urgency, blending smoothly into the forest's natural rhythm and maintaining its calm, balanced environment. After rain passes through the jungle, the scent of the forest becomes noticeably richer, carrying warm, earthy tones released by natural compounds rising from the soil. The moisture deepens the aroma of leaves and wood, allowing subtle layers of scent to spread quietly through the air. As the ground exhales this fragrance, it creates a grounded, comforting atmosphere that reflects the forest's steady renewal. The damp earth cools slightly, holding onto fresh water while releasing gentle waves of warmth that rise slowly. This mixture of cool surface and warm scent makes the post-rain moments feel soothing, as if the entire forest is settling back into its peaceful rhythm. Over time, the scent softens, blending back into the background while leaving the forest refreshed and calm. In the late afternoon, a thin layer of mist often forms above the jungle floor, providing small animals with a cool, protective environment as the heat of the day begins to fade. The mist settles evenly across leaves and roots, lowering the temperature and giving shelter to creatures that prefer gentle conditions. Frogs, insects, and tiny mammals move more comfortably in this softened air, taking advantage of the cooler pockets that appear beneath branches and large plants. The mist also reduces direct sunlight, creating shaded areas that help small animals conserve energy. As the evening approaches, the mist lifts slowly, leaving behind a calm stillness that carries into the night. This daily cycle makes the jungle feel stable and predictable, offering comfort to the life that depends on its cool, moist presence. Moisture, rising from jungle streams, blends quietly into the surrounding air, adding a cool freshness that spreads through the understory. As the water moves along rocks and roots, tiny droplets evaporate and drift upward, creating a soft, humid layer that helps balance the warmth of the forest. This gentle vapor mixes with the broader humidity of the jungle, forming a smooth, steady atmosphere that supports plants, insects, and animals throughout the day. The presence of stream-borne moisture keeps nearby foliage bright and hydrated, while the air feels slightly cooler and lighter. Over time, this quiet exchange becomes part of the forest's natural breathing, bringing a sense of calm to the spaces around moving water. Some plants in the jungle rely on dew as a primary source of moisture, gathering tiny droplets that form naturally on their leaves during cooler hours. The droplets cling gently to smooth or textured surfaces, providing hydration without the need for heavy rainfall. These plants have adapted to collect dew efficiently, guiding the water toward their roots through subtle channels or small downward curves in their leaves. During warm or dry periods, this dew becomes essential, allowing them to stay balanced and resilient even when the surrounding air grows hotter. As the day progresses and the dew evaporates, the plants begin drawing moisture from the air again, continuing a calm cycle of hydration that supports their slow, steady growth. Forest birds often communicate with one another through soft, gentle calls that drift quietly between branches. These sounds are not loud or startling. Instead, they move through the shaded spaces like brief touches of calm, helping birds stay aware of each other without disturbing the stillness around them. The calls keep groups connected as they move through dense foliage, allowing them to coordinate their routines in a steady, peaceful rhythm. The soft nature of these sounds blends easily into the forest's background, carrying only as far as needed before fading into the warm air. As the light changes through the day, the calls shift slightly, becoming calmer during the cooler hours and more spaced out as evening settles. This constant but subtle communication becomes part of the jungle's quiet pulse, a gentle reminder that even in stillness, life remains connected. Small monkeys in the jungle often communicate through low-frequency sounds that move smoothly through the dense layers of leaves and branches. These quiet calls allow them to share information without drawing attention from larger animals or breaking the forest's calm atmosphere. The soft vibrations travel farther than louder noises, making them an efficient and peaceful way to stay in contact. These low tones help the monkeys maintain their sense of safety, signaling when to move, when to rest, and when the group is shifting its position. The sounds blend naturally with the forest's muted background, adding a gentle depth to the environment. Over time, these quiet exchanges create a steady pattern of communication that reflects the calm, patient rhythm of their daily lives. Many species of frogs in the jungle save their softest calls for the nighttime hours. When the air cools and the forest becomes quieter, their calls rise gently from moist patches of ground, drifting just far enough to reach others of their kind. The softness helps them conserve energy and avoid attracting unnecessary attention from predators while still maintaining contact. The cooler evening air carries their voices smoothly, making the calls feel delicate and even soothing. As these quiet sounds overlap, they form a subtle pattern of tones that enrich the nighttime atmosphere without breaking its stillness. This calm rhythm becomes part of the forest's natural night cycle, offering a gentle contrast to the daytime sounds of the jungle. The wings of jungle moths are covered in fine scales that reflect light in a faint, understated way, giving them a soft shimmer in shaded areas. This gentle reflection helps them blend into the dim surroundings while still catching the small glints of light that pass through the canopy. Their movement is slow and unhurried, creating a quiet, almost floating presence as they travel between flowers and leaves. The delicate sheen of their wings is subtle enough to remain unnoticed from afar but becomes visible in the calm, close stillness of nighttime. As they move through the humid air, the soft reflections shift with each gentle wing beat, adding a calm, almost meditative quality to their flight. Some lizards in the jungle change their coloration to blend with the bark and leaves around them, allowing them to move quietly and safely between patches of shade. This shift in color happens gradually, matching the tones of their surroundings with a gentle transition rather than a sudden shift. The calm blending helps them avoid detection while staying close to the surfaces they prefer. As light changes throughout the day, the lizards adjust in small, subtle ways, aligning themselves with the tree trunks or rocks they rest on. This natural camouflage supports their slow, patient habit, keeping them in harmony with the forest's quiet, layered shadows. Some caterpillars in the jungle protect themselves by blending into their surroundings so closely that they look like dry leaves resting on branches. Their bodies hold soft curves and muted colors that match the gentle browns and faded greens of fallen foliage. When they stay still, their edges appear irregular, mimicking the natural wear of leaves touched by sun and moisture. This calm disguise helps them move slowly and safely through the forest without drawing attention. The illusion works best in the quiet hours, when the air is still and the forest carries only soft, filtered light. As they feed and rest, their shapes continue to resemble bits of leaf caught in place, contributing to the jungle's subtle layers of stillness. Their quiet presence adds to the sense that the forest holds many small secrets hidden in plain sight, revealed only to those who take the time to observe its gentler details. Dragonflies in the jungle often rely on the surrounding moisture to help regulate their delicate wings, allowing them to fly smoothly through warm, humid air. As the humidity settles around them, the thin membranes of their wings absorb just enough moisture to stay flexible and balanced. This gentle interaction with the air helps them glide with minimal effort, creating calm, steady movements above ponds, streams, and shaded clearings. When the air becomes too dry or warm, dragonflies often pause on leaves or branches, letting the moisture in the shaded environment restore the wings' soft equilibrium. Their flight resumes only when the balance feels right, blending their rhythm with the forest's natural shifts in temperature and humidity. This quiet dependence on moisture shapes their movements, giving their flight a peaceful, gliding quality that matches the calm atmosphere of the jungle. Bats in the jungle navigate the darkness using soft pulses of sound that echo gently through the night air. These sounds are subtle and controlled, traveling outward until they touch a nearby surface and return with information about the space around them. The process happens so smoothly that it seems almost silent to other creatures, allowing bats to move with precision without disturbing the forest's nighttime calm. Each soft pulse helps them understand distance, movement, and shape, creating a detailed map of their surroundings. The cooler evening air carries the echoes cleanly, giving bats a reliable guide as they fly through dense branches or open spaces. Their gentle navigation becomes part of the forest's quiet nighttime rhythm, adding a layer of calm motion that blends seamlessly into the stillness. Many small mammals in the jungle choose to move only when the forest becomes especially quiet, waiting for the heat and noise of the day to fade. During the calmest hours, they slip between roots, leaves, and branches with soft, almost silent steps. Their movements are careful and unhurried, guided by instinct and supported by the natural hush of the forest floor. The thick layer of leaves beneath them absorbs sound, helping them travel without disturbing the stillness around them. These animals rely on the subtle cues of temperature, light, and silence to decide when to emerge, creating a routine that fits the jungle's gentle daily rhythm. Their quiet presence adds a soft, nearly hidden layer of life to the nighttime forest, contributing to its peaceful atmosphere. Some insects in the jungle emit faint points of light that drift gently through the darkness, creating small, moving glows that add to the forest's calm nighttime mood. These lights pulse softly, appearing and fading in slow rhythms that never overwhelm the surrounding shadows. The insects move through warm, humid air with light, floating patterns that seem to rise and fall with the forest's breathing. Their gentle glow helps them communicate or attract others of their kind, while still keeping the overall atmosphere subdued. As they travel through leaves and open spaces, these moving points of light bring a quiet beauty to the night, adding a soft, calming shimmer that deepens the peacefulness of the jungle after dusk. In the jungle, climbing vines form gentle bridges between tree trunks, creating quiet pathways that link one part of the canopy to another. These vines grow slowly, wrapping themselves around bark and branches in soft, spiraling patterns that follow the forest's natural contours. Over time, they create suspended arcs that support small animals, allowing them to move safely without descending to the ground. The vines hold moisture from the surrounding air, keeping their surfaces cool and flexible even during warm hours. As they expand, they weave the upper forest into a connected network that shifts softly with each passing breeze. Their presence adds a calm structure to the canopy, helping shape the jungle's layered architecture. Each vine becomes part of a living framework that supports countless forms of life, offering quiet stability in a world of constant growth. Some plants in the jungle begin their lives on the trunks or branches of larger trees, using these elevated places as their first grounding point when soil is scarce. These young plants gather moisture from the humid air and catch organic material that falls gently from the canopy above. Over time, their roots settle into small patches of moss, bark, or decomposing leaves, creating a calm foundation that allows them to grow without reaching the forest floor. As they develop, they form soft clusters of greenery nestled high in the canopy, adding new textures and shapes to the forest's upper layers. Their slow growth reflects the patience of the jungle, showing how life adapts quietly to the spaces it is given. The supporting roots of certain jungle trees rise from the base of the trunk in wide, gentle curves that help stabilize the tree in soft soil. These roots fan outward like calm structural wings, anchoring the tree firmly even when the ground is wet or shifting. They help distribute weight evenly, preventing the tree from leaning or sinking during heavy rains. The broad surfaces of these roots also create sheltered spaces where moisture collects, attracting small organisms that prefer cool, shaded areas. As the tree grows taller, the roots expand slowly, maintaining their steady hold on the earth below. Their presence adds a sense of quiet strength to the forest, forming part of the living architecture that has endured through countless seasons. Many jungle flowers open primarily in the cool hours of early morning, taking advantage of gentle temperatures and soft light. During these first moments of the day, the air is still and moist, allowing the delicate petals to unfold without strain. Their subtle colors appear more vivid against the softened light, and their fragrances drift more easily through the calm atmosphere. Pollinators move quietly among them, drawn to the freshness that morning brings. As the sun rises and the forest warms, the flowers settle back into stillness, preserving their energy while the day becomes brighter. This daily rhythm reflects the peaceful timing of the jungle, where even blossoms follow a slow, thoughtful pattern that aligns with the forest's natural breathing. Large leaves in the jungle serve an important role by capturing the faint light that filters through the dense canopy. Their broad surfaces spread out gently, maximizing the small amounts of sunlight that reach them. Even in deep shade, these leaves absorb what they need, allowing the plant to thrive in conditions where light arrives in soft, scattered beams. Their size helps them gather moisture as well, catching dew and guiding droplets toward the roots below. When the air warms, the leaves release a cool, quiet freshness that contributes to the forest's balanced temperature. Through their steady work, these leaves help sustain life in the dimmest parts of the jungle, shaping an environment where softness, patience, and shade form the foundation of growth. Some forest plants gently shift the angle of their leaves throughout the day, aligning themselves with the slow movement of the sun. This quiet adjustment helps them gather the soft, scattered light that filters through the canopy, allowing them to make the most of the limited brightness reaching the lower layers of the jungle. The leaves tilt just enough to catch each small change in direction, moving gradually rather than suddenly. During cooler morning hours, they open wide to receive the first light, then adjust as the sun climbs and the air grows warmer. By evening, the leaves return to a more relaxed position, conserving moisture and settling into the forest's calm rhythm. This gentle tracking creates a subtle dance between plant and sunlight, one that happens continuously yet almost invisibly within the stillness of the jungle. Many flowers in the jungle release soft fragrances during the evening, attracting nocturnal insects that move quietly through the cool moisture. These scents are gentle and low, drifting only a short distance, so they do not overwhelm the calm of the forest. As the light fades, the flowers open slightly or warm themselves just enough to release these delicate aromas. Nighttime insects respond to these signals, finding their way across leaves and branches by following faint traces carried by the air. The exchange happens slowly, creating a quiet partnership between plant and pollinator. By dawn, the scent fades, allowing the flowers to rest through the warmer hours. This subtle rhythm adds another layer to the jungle's nighttime peace, connecting life through fragrance rather than sound. Some jungle fruits store water within their soft, pulpy flesh, allowing the plants that bear them to survive short periods of dryness. These fruits hold moisture gently, protected by thin skins that prevent evaporation while still keeping the inside cool. During warm hours, the stored water helps the plant remain stable, acting as a quiet reservoir that supports its slow growth. When conditions improve, the fruit continues developing, offering hydration not only to the plant, but also to animals that depend on it for nourishment. This simple, natural storage system blends seamlessly into the forest's cycles, providing stability during brief moments when rain is scarce. Over time, the fruits fall or are carried away, spreading seeds that continue the pattern of resilience and quiet adaptation. Shallow root systems near the surface of the forest floor are designed to absorb water quickly after rainfall, taking advantage of the thin, moist layer created by fresh drops. These roots spread outward rather than downward, creating a wide network that can pull in moisture before it evaporates in the warm air. When rain falls, even lightly, the roots respond almost immediately, drawing in water that supports the plant's overall balance. This rapid absorption helps maintain steady hydration, especially in areas where the soil dries quickly between rain showers. As the water moves through the plant, the roots settle back into their slow, steady rhythm, blending into the natural calm of the forest floor. Their quiet efficiency is a key part of the jungle's ability to remain lush and stable through shifting conditions. Ancient trees in the jungle serve as quiet anchors for countless smaller forms of life, offering sturdy trunks, broad branches, and sheltered crevices where plants and animals can rest. Mosses, ferns, and young plants cling to their bark, finding pockets of moisture and shade that help them grow. Small insects travel along their surfaces, using the tree's structure as both shelter and pathway. Birds and mammals rely on the tree's strength for nesting and resting, settling into spaces shaped over decades or even centuries. As these trees continue to grow, they provide stability to the forest around them, creating vertical homes that support entire miniature ecosystems. Their calm presence holds the forest together, forming a living foundation for the many small lives that depend on them. At night, the jungle becomes noticeably cooler because the dense canopy does not trap heat the way open ground does. As the sun disappears, the leaves release the warmth they gathered during the day, allowing the air beneath them to settle into a calm, refreshing coolness. This drop in temperature happens gradually, creating a peaceful transition that encourages many animals to move more comfortably. The cooler air flows gently between trunks and roots, softening the atmosphere and giving the forest a sense of quiet reset. Moisture from the day lingers in the air, adding a soft weight that makes the night feel steady and soothing. In this gentle coolness, the jungle shifts into a slower rhythm, allowing life to continue with ease and calm. Fireflies use soft pulses of light to communicate with one another, sending signals through the warm night air in a calm, steady rhythm. Their glow is gentle, never harsh, and it moves quietly between branches and leaves. Each flicker carries a message that helps them find companions or maintain a sense of connection in the darkness. The light appears and fades in slow cycles, creating a subtle pattern that blends with the stillness of the forest. As fireflies drift through the cool air, their movements add a delicate shimmer to the night, making the darkness feel alive but peaceful. Their glow becomes part of the jungle's nighttime language, spoken without sound and carried only by soft points of light. Nocturnal bees rely on scent to guide their movements, using faint traces in the air to locate flowers, paths, and safe resting places. In the quiet of night, smells linger longer and travel more smoothly, giving these bees a steady way to understand their surroundings. Instead of depending on strong light, they follow gentle streams of fragrance that drift between leaves and petals, helping them move calmly through the darkness. Their slow approach allows them to conserve energy while remaining aware of subtle changes in the air. As they navigate with patience, Their presence adds a quiet grace to the nighttime jungle, showing how even the smallest creatures move with confidence in low light. Slugs in the jungle depend on moisture to glide smoothly across leaves, soil, and fallen wood. The humid night air provides the perfect conditions for them, coating their bodies with enough dampness to move without friction. As they travel, they leave behind a thin, barely visible trail that blends into the forest floor, marking their calm, unhurried path. They move softly between cool surfaces, feeding or resting in places where moisture gathers naturally. These quiet hours offer them protection from heat and dryness, allowing them to explore with ease. Their slow, nearly silent movement fits naturally into the peaceful rhythm of the jungle at night. Forest mice often rely on their sharp hearing to search for food in the quiet hours, listening carefully to the subtle sounds around them. In the cooler night air, noises travel more clearly, helping them detect shifts in leaves, small movements in the soil, or the presence of nearby insects. They move gently across the forest floor, guided more by sound than sight. The soft layer of leaf litter beneath them muffles their steps, allowing them to travel unnoticed through the dimly lit spaces. Their attentive listening becomes part of their nightly routine, helping them navigate safely and find nourishment without disrupting the jungle's calm atmosphere. Land crabs in the jungle emerge only when the humidity reaches a comfortable level, waiting for the air to become moist enough to protect their delicate bodies from drying. During drier hours, they stay hidden beneath roots, stones, or leaf piles where the moisture lingers. When the humidity rises, usually after light rain or during cool nighttime hours, they move softly across the forest floor, taking advantage of the damp surface that supports their slow, careful steps. The moisture keeps their movements smooth and unhurried, allowing them to feed or explore without stress. As the air dries again, they retreat quietly to shaded pockets where the humidity stays steady. Their rhythm follows the forest's gentle cycles, making their appearance feel like a calm response to the atmosphere's soft changes. Many snakes in the jungle become more active during the night, moving with a fluid motion that fits naturally into the stillness around them. The cooler air helps them regulate their temperature, allowing them to travel without the strain of daytime heat. Their bodies glide gently over the leaf-covered ground, barely disturbing the surface as they pass. They rely on subtle cues in the air and soil to navigate, sensing warmth or small movements that guide them through the darkness. Their presence is calm and understated, blending into the peaceful environment that nighttime brings. This gentle activity adds to the jungle's slow, soothing rhythm after sunset. Night-blooming flowers attract moths that move through the jungle in quiet, drifting patterns. These moths wait for cooler, darker hours before seeking out blossoms that open late and release soft fragrances into the air. Their flight is gentle, guided by faint scents that linger between branches and leaves. As they approach the flowers, their delicate wing beats stir the air only slightly, creating a calm interaction that fits the stillness of the night. The moths feed or hover briefly before drifting away to the next bloom, continuing a cycle that supports both insect and plant. Their presence adds a subtle motion to the nighttime jungle, a peaceful exchange between flower and visitor that happens without sound. Spiders in the jungle use their silk not only to catch food, but also to sense the smallest vibrations in the dark. Their fine threads act as extensions of their awareness, helping them understand the gentle movements of insects or shifts in the air. At night, when sound is muted and visibility is low, This delicate sensing becomes especially useful. The spider waits calmly, feeling each tiny tremor that travels through the silk, allowing it to respond without rushing. The stillness of the night amplifies these signals, creating a quiet conversation between the spider and its surroundings. This patient method reflects the slow, attentive rhythm of the jungle after dusk. Nocturnal insects create a soft background sound that fills the jungle with a steady, soothing hum. Their calls blend together into a continuous layer of gentle noise, rising and falling in patterns that feel calm and unhurried. Each species contributes its own tone, but the individual sounds merge into a smooth, even rhythm that settles over the forest. This quiet chorus masks sudden noises and adds a sense of stability to the night. As the air cools and humidity increases, the tones soften further, becoming a comforting presence that supports the calm atmosphere. The forest feels more unified in these hours, wrapped in a peaceful soundscape created entirely by the life moving quietly through the darkness. The soft rustling of leaves in the jungle forms a continuous natural backdrop that settles gently across the forest floor. Each subtle movement comes from shifting air, passing insects, or the weight of small creatures adjusting their positions among branches. Instead of creating sharp noises, the leaves produce a smooth, layered sound that ebbs and flows with the night's calm rhythm. In some moments, the rustling thins into a faint whisper, blending so seamlessly with the darkness that it feels like part of the air itself. In other moments, it becomes slightly fuller, carrying hints of motion and life, while never disturbing the overall quiet. This soft pattern helps anchor the forest's nighttime stillness, acting as a gentle reminder that even in darkness, the jungle remains active in small, measured ways. The steadiness of this rustling provides comfort to the many animals resting nearby, giving the night a calm, familiar presence. A small stream flowing through the jungle offers a steady, rhythmic sound that resembles a slow, peaceful breath. The water glides over smooth stones and slips around tangled roots, creating a continuous murmur that weaves through the undergrowth. Its gentle movement provides a grounding sense of consistency. Even while other sounds in the forest fade or shift, the stream's tone stays low and even, never rising sharply or becoming intrusive. Instead, it creates a calming anchor that supports the nighttime stillness. Moist air moving above the water cools the surrounding plants, and the sound settles into every shaded corner like a quiet reassurance. As the night deepens, the flow becomes an even softer hum, blending into the darkness, but still maintaining an unmistakable sense of presence. Many animals rest or move close to this sound, using it as a peaceful reference point that helps them navigate the calm hours. The insects of the nighttime jungle create layers of delicate high tones that rise and fall with a steady, almost musical rhythm. Each species contributes its own sound, some offering quick pulses, others choosing longer, shimmering notes that stretch through the humid air. Together, they form a quiet chorus that feels woven into the fabric of the night. These overlapping tones do not compete or clash. Instead, they blend into a soft, textured atmosphere that wraps gently around the forest. As the air cools, the sounds become smoother, spreading evenly through the space beneath the canopy. The insects continue their gentle music without hurry, giving the night a sense of depth and continuity. This layered harmony remains steady regardless of what other small motions occur, acting as a constant, peaceful presence that supports the entire soundscape. Frogs in the jungle produce short, rounded calls that echo gently across the forest, adding warmth and rhythm to the nighttime air. Their voices carry just far enough to reach others nearby without breaking the quiet of the surroundings. Each call rises as a small, full note that briefly fills the space before fading into the cooler air. The consistent pattern of these soft calls creates a gentle pulse that many animals rely on as part of their nightly environment. The sound remains calm, balanced, and evenly spaced, reflecting the frogs' steady routines as they rest near water or settle among moist leaves. As multiple frogs call from different parts of the forest, their tones overlap in smooth, pleasing layers, contributing to the jungle's characteristic nighttime symphony. This calm exchange continues for hours, offering a soothing presence that blends effortlessly with the surrounding stillness. Nightbirds communicate cautiously and sparingly, producing deep, resonant notes that travel smoothly through the darkness. Their calls are unhurried, appearing in long pauses that allow silence to settle between each sound. When a call does emerge, it carries a sense of calm intention, moving gently between trunks and branches before fading into the open air. These birds rely on their voices not to fill the night, but to offer small signals of awareness and connection across distance. The tones are low and stable, without sharp edges, making them blend comfortably into the forest's soft nighttime atmosphere. Their presence adds depth to the soundscape, marking the passage of time in slow, measured intervals. For many creatures, these quiet calls serve as a steady reminder of safety and familiarity as the night continues. The wind moving through the canopy produces a soft, steady rustling that spreads gently across the jungle. As air slips between leaves of different shapes and sizes, it creates layered sounds that rise and fall without ever becoming sharp or intrusive. Large leaves bend slightly, giving off a fuller, deeper tone, while smaller ones flutter with lighter touches that blend into the background. The movement is calm, guided by the natural rhythm of the breeze as it drifts through open spaces and tight clusters of foliage. Sometimes the sound becomes faint, almost disappearing, and then returns with a slightly fuller presence as the wind changes direction. This gentle re-row adds a peaceful continuity to the forest, reminding every creature nearby that the air is shifting in slow, predictable patterns. It becomes one of the jungle's softest anchors, a quiet reassurance that the night remains steady. Light rain falling through the jungle canopy turns into a gentle forest drum, with each drop striking leaves, branches, and roots in its own soft pattern. Large leaves catch heavy droplets and release them slowly, producing deep, measured sounds. Smaller leaves scatter the raindrops into quicker, lighter taps that blend into a delicate background. As the water moves downward, it creates a layered rhythm that shifts smoothly as the rain increases or fades. The forest floor absorbs the remaining drops with a muted softness, completing the gentle percussion. This blended rhythm feels calming and continuous, creating a sense of warmth even in the cool, damp air. The jungle transforms the simplest rainfall into a quiet, comforting soundtrack that settles the night into a slower, more peaceful pace. Many jungle animals move so softly that their presence becomes almost undetectable. Even in the stillness of night, their steps fall on thick layers of leaves that muffle nearly every sound, while their bodies glide through shaded passages with careful, measured motions. These quiet movements help them stay safe and communicate their presence only when needed. Some pause frequently to listen to the subtle shifts around them, while others continue slowly, blending seamlessly into the background. Their silence adds a gentle mystery to the forest, giving the impression that life is always present but never hurried. Even when multiple animals move at once, their sounds remain faint, forming a nearly invisible thread of activity woven into the calm nighttime atmosphere. Bats, navigating the jungle, release soft pulses of sound at frequencies far beyond human hearing. These gentle signals bounce off leaves, branches, and the surrounding air, returning information about distance and movement. The process happens continuously, creating a detailed map of the night that helps them glide with precision through dense foliage. Although their calls are silent to human ears, they fill the space with a steady rhythm of communication that remains calm and controlled. The cooler night air carries these frequencies smoothly, allowing the bats to remain aware without disturbing the stillness around them. This quiet method of sensing reflects the broader harmony of the nighttime jungle, where many forms of life rely on subtle cues rather than sound. Termites and ants generate faint vibrations that travel through the forest floor, communicating with one another in ways that bypass the air entirely. These tiny tremors move through soil, roots, and decomposing leaves, forming a network of signals that help colonies coordinate movement and activity. The vibrations are soft enough that larger animals rarely notice them, yet they carry clear messages within the underground world. Each pulse conveys information about food, danger, or changes in the environment, allowing colonies to respond quickly without creating noise. The earth beneath the jungle becomes a quiet channel for communication. Carrying these small signals with steady consistency, this hidden exchange adds depth to the forest's nighttime rhythm, showing how even the smallest creatures contribute to the calm, layered symphony of the jungle. The soil of the jungle forms slowly over the years as fallen leaves settle into soft layers that break down with patience. Each leaf begins as a crisp surface before moisture, warmth, and time gradually soften it, turning it into fine organic matter. As these layers build up, they create a cushion-like foundation that supports countless forms of life. From insects resting beneath the surface to roots seeking nourishment, the process happens quietly, without sharp changes, mirroring the forest's slow breathing. Every season adds a thin layer of new material, which blends seamlessly into the layers underneath. This constant renewal allows the soil to remain rich and supportive, giving the forest floor its soft, slightly cool texture. Over time, the accumulated leaves form a deep reservoir of nutrients, holding the memory of years in calm, grounded silence. Fungi in the jungle play a gentle but essential role by breaking down fallen wood into nutrients that can be absorbed by plants. Their thin, branching structures move through dead logs and damp bark, turning solid material into softer, finer particles. This process unfolds slowly, following the forest's natural rhythm, allowing trees and plants to regain minerals once locked inside the wood. The decomposition does not happen abruptly. Instead, it progresses quietly, guided by moisture and temperature. As the wood softens, it becomes part of the soil, contributing to the rich, dark layers beneath the forest floor. The work of fungi keeps the cycle of growth steady, ensuring that old material returns to the earth in a way that supports new life. Their presence adds a subtle continuity to the jungle, linking past growth to future stability. Tree roots in the jungle weave together beneath the soil, forming a quiet network that stabilizes the ground. These roots spread outward in calm, deliberate patterns, creating connections that help anchor the forest during heavy rain or shifting weather. Some roots stretch close to the surface, while others reach deeper, giving the soil multiple layers of support. As they encounter one another, roots often intertwine gently, strengthening their hold and preventing the earth from being washed away. This silent cooperation provides a solid foundation for plants and trees, allowing them to grow tall without fear of instability. Over time, the tangled roots create a natural structure that keeps the ground firm while still allowing water and nutrients to flow. This slow, steady work reflects the jungle's patient approach to maintaining balance. Many jungle plants share nutrients with one another through underground fungal networks, forming quiet partnerships that help each plant stay healthy. These thin fungal threads connect roots beneath the soil, allowing important minerals and moisture to move between them. When one plant has more resources than it needs, it can pass some of its excess to a neighboring plant through this shared network. The exchange happens slowly and without waste. Guided by the natural balance of the forest, this cooperation allows weaker plants to survive and stronger ones to thrive without disrupting the ecosystem. The network remains hidden beneath layers of soil and fallen leaves, but its steady influence shapes the well-being of the entire jungle. This calm, unseen collaboration offers stability in a world where conditions change gently but constantly. Jungle soil holds water for long periods, thanks to its rich, spongy structure made from layers of decayed leaves and organic matter. When rain falls, the soil absorbs moisture quickly, distributing it through its soft, porous layers. Instead of letting the water drain away, the soil holds onto it, releasing it slowly over time to support roots and small organisms living underground. This steady retention helps prevent sudden drying and keeps the forest hydrated even between rainfall. The moisture also cools the ground, creating a comfortable environment for insects, to fungi, and the many roots that rely on dampness to thrive. As the water moves gradually through the soil, it becomes part of a calm cycle that mirrors the jungle's gentle rhythm. Over time, this natural reservoir helps the entire ecosystem maintain its balanced, steady life. Many seeds in the jungle rest beneath the soil for months, waiting quietly for the right conditions to begin growing. They remain still in the cool, dark earth, protected by layers of fallen leaves and soft organic matter. During this time, the seeds conserve their energy, sensing subtle changes in moisture, temperature, and light. When rain becomes consistent or when warm air settles into the soil in a gentle, predictable pattern, the seeds slowly awaken. Their outer shells soften, allowing tiny roots to emerge and begin exploring the surrounding earth. This unhurried process helps the forest remain stable, ensuring that new plants appear only when the environment can support them. The waiting period becomes part of the jungle's natural rhythm, a quiet transition that links seasons together through calm cycles of rest and growth. Termites create small ventilation tunnels in the soil, shaping pathways that allow fresh air to move gently through their underground homes. These tunnels regulate the temperature and humidity inside the colony, helping maintain the comfort needed for their slow, continuous work. The ventilation system forms naturally as termites dig and reinforce the walls, shaping channels that guide warm air outward and draw cooler air in. This flow remains steady, even during hot or rainy weather, allowing the nest to stay balanced without sudden changes. The tunnels extend through layers of soil and decomposing leaves, blending seamlessly into the forest floor. Their quiet design reflects the termites' efficient, patient approach to shaping their environment, adding another subtle pattern to the jungle's underground world. The soil in the jungle retains heat through the night, releasing it slowly as the surrounding air cools. During the day, the forest floor absorbs warmth from filtered sunlight and the gentle radiation from leaves and branches. As darkness settles, this stored warmth rises gradually, keeping the lower layers of the forest from becoming too cold. This slow release creates a stable temperature that helps insects, fungi, and roots remain comfortable through the cooler hours. The steady warmth also reduces stress on small animals that rely on the soil's soft, insulated surface for rest. This quiet thermal cycle repeats every day, forming a gentle balance between heat and coolness that supports the calm, nighttime rhythm of the jungle. Soil bacteria in the jungle help plants stay healthy by breaking down organic matter and releasing nutrients that protect them from subtle stresses. These tiny organisms live in the thin spaces between soil particles, working slowly to create compounds that strengthen plant roots. Their activity helps plants resist minor infections and environmental changes, offering a natural form of quiet support as bacteria process fallen leaves, soft wood, and moisture. They enrich the soil, allowing plants to grow more steadily. This partnership unfolds silently, with each microbe contributing to the balanced ecosystem beneath the forest floor. Over time, these small helpers ensure that the jungle remains vibrant, stable, and capable of renewing itself. Shallow roots near the surface of the jungle floor absorb morning dew with remarkable efficiency, taking advantage of the moisture that settles during the cooler hours. As droplets form on leaves and drip gently onto the ground, the uppermost roots draw the water in before it evaporates in the warmth of the day. This early hydration supports the plant's steady growth, providing a soft, consistent source of moisture even before rainfall arrives. The roots respond calmly, absorbing only what they need and leaving the soil cool and balanced. This gentle morning exchange becomes part of the forest's daily rhythm, a quiet interaction between plant and environment that helps maintain the jungle's lush, stable life. Early morning light enters the jungle as a soft, muted glow that spreads slowly through the canopy. Instead of sharp beams, the light becomes a gentle haze, filtered through layers of leaves that bend and scatter it in calm patterns. This creates a pale, floating brightness that hovers between branches, illuminating dust, moisture, and drifting insects in a quiet shimmer. The forest responds gradually, with colors shifting from deep nighttime greens to lighter hues that appear almost washed in silver. Shadows soften, blending into the ground rather than forming sharp shapes. Animals adjust gently to this transition, moving slowly or pausing to feel the new warmth settle across the forest. The early light introduces the day without urgency, creating a peaceful beginning that shapes the jungle's steady rhythm. Temperatures inside the jungle remain more stable than those outside because the canopy acts as a natural buffer, shielding the forest floor from direct heat and sudden cooling. Throughout the day, sunlight is softened before reaching the ground, allowing warmth to build slowly rather than sharply. At night, the same dense layers help hold that warmth, releasing it gradually into the cool air. This balance creates a calm environment where animals and plants experience fewer extreme shifts. Moisture in the air also helps regulate heat, keeping the atmosphere steady and comfortable. Even when outside temperatures rise or fall quickly, the jungle maintains a smoother, gentler climate that mirrors its unhurried pace. Morning dew lingers beneath the forest canopy longer than in open spaces because the leaves above shield the ground from direct sunlight. The air remains cool and still during the early hours, allowing moisture to cling to leaves, roots, and soil in soft, shimmering droplets. As the sun rises, only a small amount of light reaches the lower layers, causing the dew to evaporate slowly and evenly. This creates a calm, refreshing atmosphere that supports insects, small animals, and plants that depend on the extra moisture. The slow fading of dew helps maintain the forest's deep humidity, adding to the jungle's steady transition from night to day. Many birds in the jungle sing primarily at first light, choosing the calmest moment of the day to release their soft, melodic calls. The cool air carries their voices gently through the trees, allowing the sounds to spread without harshness. These songs help the birds reconnect with their groups after the quiet hours of night, marking the beginning of their daily routines. The brief window of dawn provides the perfect balance of light and stillness, encouraging even the most reserved species to offer their gentle notes. As the day grows warmer and busier, their calls become less frequent, allowing the forest to shift naturally into its daytime rhythm. The dawn chorus becomes a peaceful threshold between darkness and light. Some jungle plants close their leaves during the middle of the day to protect themselves from losing too much water when the air becomes warmest. This movement happens slowly, as the leaves fold inward or angle themselves to reduce sunlight exposure. By narrowing their surface area, the plants help retain moisture within their tissues, maintaining balance until the temperature cools again. When evening approaches and the air softens, the leaves gently reopen, allowing the plant to breathe and absorb moisture. This daily rhythm mirrors the jungle's larger cycles of heat and shade, showing how plants adapt quietly to the changing environment. The process unfolds without rush, blending into the forest's calm midday stillness. Rain in the jungle often forms quickly once the air reaches a certain level of moisture. As evaporated water rises through warm layers and begins to condense beneath the canopy, this process happens quietly at first, with small droplets gathering in the clouds above the trees. As the moisture thickens, the sky shifts into a soft grey and the first drops fall gently onto the leaves. The transition from dry air to rainfall feels natural and fluid, matching the forest's calm rhythm. Because the air is already rich with humidity, the rain forms readily and settles into a steady pattern that refreshes the plants below. The forest accepts the moisture with ease, allowing each drop to filter slowly through the layers of leaves before reaching the cool ground. Light wind beneath the jungle canopy maintains a steady, predictable direction because the dense layers of trees reduce sudden shifts. As air moves through the forest, it becomes calm and filtered, losing the strong gusts found in open spaces. The leaves respond with soft, even motions, creating a peaceful consistency that spreads across the forest floor. This steady airflow helps maintain the temperature and humidity, carrying coolness from shaded areas without disturbing the quiet. Animals and plants adapt easily to this gentle wind, using it as a stable part of their daily environment. The slow, smooth movement of air adds to the jungle's soothing atmosphere, keeping the lower layers calm, while the canopy above shifts more freely. The jungle becomes brightest in the mid-morning hours, when sunlight has climbed high enough to pass through openings in the canopy, but has not yet reached its intense midday strength. During this period, soft beams of light filter down in gentle patterns, illuminating leaves, roots, and patches of forest floor with a warm, diffused glow. Colors appear clearer and more vibrant, as the balance between shade and brightness creates a calm clarity. Small animals move more freely during this time. Taking advantage of the comfortable light, the forest feels quietly energized, holding a moment of brightness before the stronger heat of midday settles in. This mid-morning glow becomes a peaceful transition between night's softness and the warmth that follows. Many flowers in the jungle open only when they receive a certain amount of early light, responding to the gentle warmth and brightness of dawn. Their petals unfold slowly, absorbing the soft illumination that filters through the canopy. This early morning timing helps protect the flowers from intense midday heat and preserves their delicate colors and moisture. Pollinators that are active at sunrise move calmly among the newly opened blooms, following faint scents and subtle light cues. As the sun rises higher, some flowers close again, conserving energy for the next day. This quiet rhythm of opening and resting blends into the forest's morning routine, shaping the gentle cycles of growth and renewal. Late afternoon in the jungle brings a steady rise in humidity as the air cools and moisture begins to gather again around leaves, soil, and roots. The warmth of the day fades gradually, allowing water vapor to settle into a soft mist that spreads across the understory. This renewed humidity helps plants recover from the dry heat of midday, restoring a calm moisture that supports their evening growth. Animals that prefer cooler air begin to move. Taking advantage of the softened atmosphere, the forest feels refreshed and balanced, preparing gently for the coming night. This slow increase in moisture marks one of the jungle's most peaceful transitions, connecting the day's final light with the quiet hours ahead. The tropical jungle holds more than half of the planet's life, gathering countless forms of plants, animals, fungi, and microorganisms into one vast, intertwined system. Every corner of the forest contains layers of hidden stories, from the smallest organisms in the soil to the tallest trees reaching toward the sky. This abundance does not overwhelm the jungle. Instead, it forms a calm, balanced web where each organism plays a quiet but essential role. The diversity creates stability, allowing the forest to continue thriving even when conditions shift gently from day to night. This living world feels complete within itself, holding a deep sense of continuity that stretches across generations. Life moves softly yet steadily, reminding the forest that it carries a legacy much older than any single moment. The canopy of the jungle forms a separate living layer, functioning as a world of its own high above the forest floor. Branches intertwine to create broad platforms where plants, insects, birds, and small mammals live without ever touching the ground. Light filters through leaves in gentle patterns, creating a soft brightness that supports mosses, flowers, and climbing vines. This elevated environment offers food, shelter, and calm pathways for countless creatures that rarely descend. The canopy moves slightly with the wind, creating a quiet rhythm that shapes life above. From below, it appears still, but within its hidden spaces, the canopy supports an entire ecosystem that breathes, grows and rests independently, forming a peaceful, elevated kingdom within the greater forest. Every animal in the jungle occupies a small ecological niche, contributing quietly to the balance of the forest. Some move through shadows on the ground, others glide between branches, and many live in tiny hidden spaces that remain unseen by most. Each species uses a set of behaviors and adaptations that fit precisely into its environment, allowing the forest to function smoothly. Their lives do not overlap chaotically. Instead, they spread out in gentle, deliberate patterns that reduce competition and allow resources to be shared without conflict. These niches form a mosaic of calm routines, each one contributing to the jungle's overall harmony. Together, the animals maintain a steady rhythm that helps the forest remain stable through changing light, temperature, and moisture. Energy in the jungle flows continuously, from leaves to soil in a slow, patient cycle. Sunlight arrives as soft beams that nourish leaves, which later fall and become part of the forest floor. As the leaves break down, nutrients return to the soil and feed new roots, completing a natural loop that repeats without interruption. This cycle supports every layer of the ecosystem, from the canopy to the ground-dwelling creatures. The movement of energy is gentle and unhurried, shaped by rainfall, warmth, and the quiet work of fungi, insects, and microorganisms. Each step blends seamlessly into the next, forming a self-sustaining system that mirrors the jungle's calm, steady heartbeat. The jungle creates its own stable microclimate, keeping temperature and humidity balanced through layers of leaves, soil, and moisture. The canopy filters sunlight, preventing sudden heat, while the forest floor retains coolness and releases it slowly through the night. Moisture cycles through the air and ground in soft patterns, supporting plants and animals that depend on steady conditions. Even when the world outside changes quickly, the jungle responds gradually, adjusting its atmosphere with patience. This stability helps life thrive in gentle rhythms, offering a predictable environment where growth continues quietly. The microclimate becomes a calm, protective envelope that surrounds every leaf, root, and creature within the forest. Water moving through the jungle supports far more than the small streams and pools it passes through. Each drop that flows between roots carries nutrients, coolness, and gentle hydration that eventually travel into larger rivers, wetlands, and distant systems beyond the forest. As water moves slowly across moss-covered stones and soft layers of soil, it gathers minerals from decomposed leaves and tiny organisms living quietly within the earth. This enriched flow becomes the foundation for ecosystems downstream, feeding plants and animals that have never seen the deep jungle where it began. The gentle rhythm of the water maintains stability, balancing the temperature and moisture of the forest as it travels. Even when the flow seems small or almost silent, it plays a steady, essential role in connecting the jungle to the broader landscape. Over time, this calm movement becomes part of a larger story, showing how the forest extends its influence far beyond its boundaries through patient streams and soft currents. Scientific observations show that jungles play a significant role in regulating global carbon, using countless leaves, roots, and microorganisms to absorb and process carbon dioxide from the air. Each plant participates quietly in this cycle, collecting carbon as part of its daily growth and storing it within trunks, branches, and soils. The forest does not act with urgency. Instead, It works through steady, continuous exchanges that unfold across seasons and years. Even the fallen leaves contribute, breaking down slowly and carrying carbon into the soil where fungi and bacteria help store it safely. This gentle system supports the planet's overall balance, reducing fluctuations in the atmosphere and maintaining long-term stability. The jungle becomes an immense, living filter, performing its work with a calm consistency that mirrors its internal rhythms. Through this steady activity, it connects local processes to global patterns, offering an essential layer of quiet protection for life far beyond its boundaries. Each square meter of jungle contains thousands of ecological relationships that weave together into a complex but peaceful web of life. Plants, insects, fungi, soil organisms, and small animals all interact in ways that support one another, often without direct contact. Nutrients travel through roots and networks of fungi, while insects carry pollen, seeds, and organic matter between plants. Even fallen leaves influence the relationships below, offering shelter and resources for the smallest creatures. These connections unfold continuously, forming a delicate balance that allows each organism to thrive in its own quiet space. The density of these interactions does not create chaos. Instead, it brings stability, allowing the forest to withstand slow environmental shifts. Every small relationship adds a layer of resilience, shaping the jungle into an ecosystem that feels both intricate and harmonious. This gentle complexity gives the forest its strength, creating a world where countless lives coexist through calm, steady interaction. The jungle is never truly silent. Even in its calmest moments, small movements ripple through the forest as insects shift beneath leaves. Water drips from branches and roots settle into soft soil. These sounds blend into a subtle, continuous presence that fills the air without disturbing it. Animals that move quietly contribute barely noticeable footsteps, while distant birds or frogs release soft calls that drift through the darkness. The forest's natural motions, branches swaying, moisture settling, soil breathing with temperature changes add to this gentle soundscape. Silence in the jungle is not the absence of sound, but the presence of countless soft events happening together at a steady pace. This subtle activity gives the forest a living texture, reminding every creature that life continues, even when the world appears still. The quiet movement becomes a kind of heartbeat, slow and steady, shaping the atmosphere of the nighttime jungle with calm intention. When the jungle sleeps, the ecosystem does not shut down, it simply shifts into a slower, softer rhythm. Animals reduce their movements, plants settle into nighttime processes, and the air cools into a calm, balanced state. In this peaceful phase, the forest conserves energy while continuing essential functions such as moisture exchange, nutrient cycling, and subtle communication among roots and fungi. Even small creatures remain active in gentle ways, maintaining the forest's underlying stability. The rhythms of breathing, growth, and quiet motion continue beneath the apparent stillness, ensuring that the ecosystem remains healthy through the night. As the forest slows, every part of it adjusts to the cooler air and softer sounds, creating an atmosphere that feels deeply restful. This shift does not mark an ending, but a transition, preparing the jungle for the gradual return of light and activity when a new day begins. As we reach the end of this quiet journey, let the last traces of the jungle settle gently around you. Everything you've wandered through tonight, the soft humidity rising from the soil, the calm movements of animals hidden between shadows, the layered glow of early light through the canopy. All of it belongs to a slow, patient rhythm that continues whether anyone is watching or not. This forest does not rush. It does not push time forward. It simply breathes, one steady moment at a time, carrying life in ways so gentle you can feel your mind sinking into its pace. If you listen closely, you can still sense the moisture that clings to the air at night, wrapping itself around leaves, resting on roots, and rising in faint curls from the cool ground. That moisture is the forest's heartbeat, constant, subtle, and always present. It softens every sound, smooths every movement, and gives the night its calm weight. Nothing in the jungle stands alone. Every drop of water, every drifting scent, every quiet vibration forms a piece of a much larger stillness that waits patiently to be noticed. The insects add their delicate notes to the background, weaving a soft, steady texture into the air. Their voices are never loud. Instead, they blend into something like a lullaby, made not from melody, but from gentle continuity. Beneath that, the deeper tones of distant frogs, the low rustle of branches, and the slow settling of soil create a second layer of sound, a foundation that feels as old as the forest itself. Imagine those tones as a warm blanket spread across the entire landscape, easing the night into a smoother, quieter shape. Even the light behaves differently here. In the early morning, it enters the forest in wide, muted halos instead of sharp beams, and as the day fades, that light softens until it becomes only a faint memory on the far edges of the leaves. By nighttime, the forest glows only with tiny sparks, drifting fireflies, small reflections on damp bark, the faintest shimmer of moonlight caught in the mist. Nothing glows brightly, nothing breaks the calm. Everything is softened, blurred, and held gently in place. As the jungle settles into darkness, the rhythm slows even more. The creatures that remain awake do not move quickly. They glide, listen, in pause, and continue with a quiet purpose shaped by thousands of years of night. Roots breathe slowly beneath the earth. Leaves fold inward. Water gathers itself in still pools or slides calmly along stones. The entire landscape shifts into a state of rest that isn't truly sleep, but something deeper, a steady conservation of energy, like a long exhale held in silence. And even here, in this deep quiet, the jungle continues to live. It never stops entirely, it only changes tempo, lowering its heartbeat until it matches the softness of the dark. Life becomes a series of subtle exchanges, a small animal adjusting its path, a leaf releasing a final bead of moisture, a distant bird calling once, just once, to the shadows. Every gesture is gentle. Every sound is round and soft. Everything feels like it belongs to a world wrapped in its own calm gravity. So as you rest, imagine yourself lying within this slow-moving planet of green and shadow. Feel the air cooling around you, the mist settling lightly on your skin, the soft hum of insects smoothing the night into a single, even note. Let your breath fall into the same rhythm, slow, warm, and unhurried. Let your thoughts drift outward, like dew fading into the soil, dissolving into the quiet. And now, picture the forest as it finally closes the day. The trees rise like silhouettes against the darkening sky. The last glimmers of light sink into the canopy, The wind lowers to a whisper. One by one, every sound softens until only the faintest background remains, a steady, peaceful murmur that feels like the jungle taking a long, slow breath. The forest does not disappear. It simply folds itself into shadow, keeping its calm, even heartbeat alive beneath the darkness. And as it settles into this deep stillness, you are welcome to settle with it, letting the night carry you into rest, held gently by a world that has been breathing in this rhythm for longer than memory can reach. Good night from the jungle. Good night from this quiet, living planet within a planet, and may its slow, soft heartbeat guide you gently into sleep